Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am the founder of Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101. And I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. If you'd like to join us, go to nsfva.org and sign up today. All this week, I'm answering questions about the food industry. But before we get into those questions, I want to remind you guys about the Food Truck Owners Expo, which will be held this year in Orlando, Florida, November 12th and 13th. I will be there giving 3 classes, one on writing a profitable menu, one on marketing in the off-season, and one on why we as food vendors need to learn to speak with a single voice so we can make change in our industry. Again, Orlando, Florida, November 12th and 13th. If you'd like to buy tickets, do it today. Go to ftoexpo.com. Place that order, and when you do, put in the code FTTG15 for a 15% discount. I want to thank Table Needs for sponsoring this episode of the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. Table Needs is a full-service POS system capable of handling your busy food truck, cash, credit card, and reporting needs. Check out the link in the description for more information about Table Needs. So let's talk about some of those questions that are asked of me. One of the questions that I get a lot, especially here in the last 6-7 months, is can you give me some tips on how to use AI tools like ChatGPT to streamline operations? Now, there's things you can certainly use ChatGPT for, and there's things you should not use ChatGPT for. What I don't want to see food truck owners do is have ChatGPT write a business plan or have it do anything that should be original work as far as you learning your own industry. While you think it's a shortcut and saving you time, it's also hurting your ability to make decisions on the fly. It's hurting your ability to understand your own industry. For example, ChatGPT can be taught how to do a food cost, but what ChatGPT can't do is look at your operation and figure out how you're losing food costs. ChatGPT can do a lot of things to help you streamline your marketing and help you become more efficient, but it can't look at your operation and tell you, hey, you need to do this to help your operation. So if you're going to use ChatGPT, focus it on creating things that, number one, save you time. So if you want it to help you do posts, learn how to do prompting. So you got to educate yourself. You can't just say, ChatGPT, give me 10 social media posts for my food truck, because it'll spit out 10, but they'll be useless. You got to educate ChatGPT and any other AI out there on how your business works, your personality, so that when it starts to write things, it matches your typical output. So you can use it to write those social media posts. A lot of people sit down and think, I'm going to write 10 posts, and then they get that writer's block and they're not able to do anything. ChatGPT doesn't get writer's block. What you do want to make sure, though, is what the output is, you customize it to you. Don't just straight copy and paste, because it'll look like AI. People that use AI a lot recognize when AI writes stuff. It has a certain cadence. It has a certain way that it does things as far as emoji uses and bold lettering uses and that type of thing. And it comes across as fake, especially when all of the posts are nothing but AI generated. You can use AI to help you create forms. You can use AI to help you create questions for surveys if you want to do something with your guests. You can use it for a lot of volume-related activities. You need to do 30 posts on social media, then it can create 30 posts in just a few minutes. But again, that's if you've taken the time to teach it about your operation, about what you sell, about how you like to talk, and get it to understand you. So it's not as easy as people make it sound, but it's certainly easier than you sitting trying to develop 30 posts on your own. Somebody asked me this question the other day, and I thought it was interesting. It was, can you tell me one thing that you learned when you ran the Wendy's in St. Thomas? Now, the Wendy's that I ran in St. Thomas is right where the cruise ships dock. So every morning when the cruise ships are docking, people are getting off the cruise ships to go take tours of the island. So our Wendy's is right there where all the cruise ships dock, and us being the only fast food right there, every morning when we opened, we would have all the taxi drivers come in and eat breakfast and get cups of coffee and cups of tea and sit and wait until 7 o'clock, because that's when most cruise ships would do the debarkation process. And they could pick up all those people and charge them big bunches of money to take them on tours around the island. Having worked in that environment where it's a Wendy's, still part of the United States, the U.S. Virgin Islands, but it's also different. One of the things that I learned there was something that I knew but had never really been driven home before. I knew that certain parts of the country have flavor profiles that they gravitate to. For example, in the North, you don't sell much sweet tea. In the South, all you sell is sweet tea. Some places, some areas like sweeter coleslaw, some like more vinegary coleslaw. So those are pockets of flavor profile changes. But I never saw it as far as a major product. Wendy's sells hamburgers, but when you get into the Virgin Islands, they don't have a whole lot of red meat there. Being an island, they're more fish, chicken, white meats. So our Wendy's, and this was in the late 80s, early 90s, our Wendy's sold everything that was allowed to be sold as far as product line goes. Back then, our Wendy's in St. Thomas sold fish. That was an optional item in the States. But for us, we had to sell it because most people, when they came to a Wendy's, weren't looking for a burger. They were wanting fish. They were wanting chicken. And we sold a crazy ton of chicken. Most Wendy's back then had one pressure fryer, and it would handle the volume because you could put a whole bunch of the chicken patties on that fryer. And I can't remember how many it would hold, but it was a bunch, like 20 or 30. We had 3 of those fryers and would struggle to keep up because we sold so many fish. We sold so many chicken. This restaurant had a bank of fryers that would put pretty much any other fast food restaurant you've ever worked at to shame. We had 8 fryers. Then we had the 3 pressure fryers. And then we had one big fryer that they intended on using for chicken, bone-in chicken. We never did do, thank goodness. But we had that much money just tied up in shortening. So what you got to learn from that lesson is just because you like a product and you're known for it doesn't mean that as you move around and go to different areas that product's always going to be the number one seller. You got to be open to change and then be able to adapt to that change when product falls out of favor. If you're a burger truck, for example, and then like us at Wendy's in the long term, we just sold everything we possibly could that wasn't red meat. Oh, we sold chicken nuggets too, and this is back before they became real popular at Wendy's. And I was like, I've never even seen a Wendy's chicken nugget at that point. And we were selling cases of them just through lunch because, again, people were not onto the red meat. We had a salad bar. Wendy's was known for the salad bar back in the late 80s, early 90s. Our salad bar was super, super busy, and ours was huge because we had so many people around it all the time. You could look up, and there'd usually be 5 or 6 people around it filling up their plates, no matter what time of day or night it was. Because, again, we were very busy Wendy's. We would open with a $300 hour, and we would close with a $300 hour. And this is back when our signature product was $2.49. Because I'm sure there's many food trucks that open with a $300 hour today, but they have a $18 signature item. They're not waiting on near the number of people that we were to get to 300. And 300 was our slow hours. At lunch, we were always over 1,000, and we approached 2,000 many hours. And again, signature product being $2.49, that's a whole bunch of people. Let's do one more question. How do food vendors leverage social media trends to attract more guests to their business? Social media is something you got to be on. Now, there are trends within social media. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So, for example, a social media trend a while back before COVID was the ice bucket challenge, where you would nominate somebody and then donate money to some charity. I don't remember what it was. And you would have somebody dump ice on you and then say, okay, Bill, it's now your turn. I challenge you to do this same challenge. And then I would do a video, somebody dump ice on me, and I'd pick somebody else, and then we'd all donate money to a charity. That's a trend. It's a worthwhile trend, something you should be involved in. And then the more creative ways that you can dump the ice on you, the better it was. So one of the trends right now is the short form videos, the reels or the shorts, or what they do with TikTok. And the idea is to become a part of that and then leverage it so that you're a little bit different than all the other noise that's out there, and then get people to like what you're doing. So, for example, on TikTok, you can create a video where it's a recipe. Pretty simple. You just have all the ingredients all laid out off camera and then just quickly dump them into something and have the word flash up there. Quarter cup of salt or whatever it is that you're using. And then mix it all up and then show the end product and then show you taking a bite and reflecting how awesome it was that you made this. Those kind of things get attention because people want those little short instructional videos. You could do drinks. I do iced coffee. You can make videos on how you do the different flavors of iced coffee. So you don't even have to show your face. One of the trends right now is certainly faceless videos. The idea is to pay attention. Whatever's coming across your feed, look at it and see, can I adapt this to my business social media? Don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Just figure out how to do it. And this relates back to an earlier question about how to use ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT to give you 10 different ideas on this particular subject. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there that are popping up, some of them good, some of them bad, on how to use AI. But if you're interested in cutting down the learning curve, join one of those groups and learn how to do AI and make it productive for you. And then give it the task of create ideas for me to use on my social media videos. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. Please take a moment to follow our podcast. And if you really like what we do, please do show some support. We have links in the description to make that happen. Every little bit does help keep us going. Until next time, you guys have a profitable day.